Welcome to the INTJ equation. Today, I'm going to talk about 10 strange but overlooked signs you might be an INTJ. So be sure to stick around to the end of this video to see whether you might be an INTJ or not, and go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Sign number 1, you're seen as insensitive, uncaring, or socially unaware. INTJs have FE trickster, also known as FE blind or FE polar. FE trickster, in my opinion, is really the lack of awareness of what FE, extroverted feeling, is. Want to know more about FE? Go ahead and click this link up above to learn more how extroverted feeling works to get a better idea. Regardless of type, everyone is driven by their emotions one way or another. And as an INTJ, you often kind of steamroll people's emotions and you're kind of unaware of it. This is usually not intentional. If you're watching about other INTJs, we don't always mean to do this unless we're just unhealthy and we're being assholes and we're just being malicious, which you totally shouldn't do. If you're an INTJ and you have FE trickster, you might be totally clueless in social situations and you might come off as odd or strange. INTJs lack FE and SI. They have FE trickster and SI demon. These are the most people-oriented functions. So it's kind of a combination of not knowing and not caring of what people are doing in social situations. We're kind of either oblivious to it or ambivalent towards it. 2, you have been told that your head is in the clouds. It's pretty common knowledge that INTJs are known as NI heroes or NI DOMs, meaning that we lead with introverted intuition. We really love to sit and think all day. We could sit and daydream and it kind of recharges us. Because we sit there and daydream and really love our internal thought process, people might see us as lazy, spacey, or even autistic, possibly, and that we lack tension and detail. Daydreaming is an important part of being an INTJ. When we get overloaded with our SC inferior, we can kind of go in and just daydream and sit there and stare at a wall and think for hours to kind of recharge. When we're around people too much or in crowds, or maybe there's loud music or conversations going on, this can drain us. We are introverts after all. Having NI and that escape in our heads is a good way to recharge. Regardless of what MBTI says, INTJs are actually perceivers. We lead by introverted intuition, which is a perceiving function. So we like to look at things, analyze things very deeply, take our time to come to conclusions before we move on. Regardless of what MBTI says, INTJs are naturally perceivers. Says NI is a perceiving function. We like to sit there and think and take in information. This is how our main way of navigating the world, really. So we're gathering information by default. This is crucial for our decision-making process. 3, people call you crazy. Like I said, INTJs and INFJs, their NI is their go-to function. It's where they're at by default. Want to know more about introverted intuition? Go ahead and click this link above to watch introverted intuition to find out more about it. Also, give this video a quick thumbs up. I would really appreciate that as well. NI is an internal process. We take in information. This is how we formulate our opinions about the world. Seeing that INTJs make up approximately 1 to 2% of the population, there's a lot of mistyping out there, so those numbers are probably never going to be accurate. To others who don't understand INTJs and INFJs, seeing that we're so rare, that we're always in our heads just thinking and rather be in thought than talk to other people, we're kind of seen as odd, eccentric, or even crazy. We get all the labels of autism, insane, psychopath, serial killer, spree shooter. I've been called those things numerous times throughout my life. One of the things that make INTJs come off as crazy is that we see patterns. We have NI and NE really is pattern recognition. We kind of think very deeply and contemplate things around us, and we see patterns that others don't see. So this is a big reason why INTJs are usually so quiet, because when we try to extrovert our thoughts, even other NI DOMs might struggle to comprehend what one NI user is actually seeing, because it's in our own mind. It hasn't manifested in reality quite yet. And oftentimes we don't check it with our TE parent or our TI cynics, and these thoughts might seem delusional or crazy. INTJs have the burden of proof. Many times I come up with my own conclusions and people say, well, that hasn't been empirically studied. There's no proof of that. Even like INTPs will say this to me. I think NI is really manifestation, what, like New Age spirituality or anybody calls law of attraction manifestation. We picture these things in our mind and they haven't come to reality yet. So we have to bring these into fruition with our other functions. Our visions are deeply unique and personal. and they're very individual. So we have to prove the naysayers wrong, basically. Sign number 4, you rapidly process information. Once honed in, NINTE are a pretty killer combo, in my opinion. As mentioned before, we spend a lot of time processing the world with our NI, our perceiving function, and we kind of flesh it out with our TE, our judging function. Having NI and TE, we can come to conclusions at lightning speed. One reason for this is because we're triple progression. INTJs have their ego, which of course is INTJ, their subconscious, their duality side is ESFP, they are progression types as well, and our shadow side is ENTPs, they are progression as well. So we kind of just don't know how to be control and take our sweet time. We're always moving, always on the go. Progress is very, very important to us. And when we don't have progress, we often get very frustrated because we get impatient with our SE inferior and our SI demon. Though INTJ's thought process is very rapid, this can be a burden as well. You have to definitely fact check things with our TI cynics. Once again, I want to hit this home. INTJs have the burden of proof as well as INFJs. Our thoughts and our inner realities aren't real to other people. So we have to bring these out and prove them to be true. Chances are, if you're an NI Dom, your family thinks you're crazy and they took you to a psychiatrist and tried shoving pills down your throat. Sign number 5, you're an INTJ. You have a deep value system and you always go against the grain. INTJs have FI child, where we have a deep internal world and we're full of emotions that we just are really reluctant to let out. We also have a deep value system that's very personal and important to us. I think FI child is often seen as the source of arrogance for INTJs. We have this value system and we have a good idea of how things should be in our mind, and we are very reluctant to go against that. We definitely do not take kindly to people infringing on our FI values. Going back to the shadow with FE trickster, FE extroverted feeling is the collective value system of the group. And since we kind of lack awareness of this, we don't really know, comprehend, or care what others are doing, what others are thinking. So this makes us very independent and we kind of go to the beat of our own drum, basically. Along with SI Demon, which is people-oriented like FE, this makes INTJs probably the most independent personality type of them all. We pave our path with our NI, with our FI child, and people go against this or make us go against our own values, we might vehemently lash out. I've gotten in trouble with this more than once. Sign number 6, you look pissed off all the time. A cliche of being an INTJ is the death stare or resting bitch face. When we are deep in our NI thought process, we can go into 1,000-yard stare like a combat vet with PTSD, basically. It can be like a trance almost. We kind of get so caught up in our inner world that we don't know what's going on around us. Going in this trance-like state can be confused as disassociation, which can be confused as mental illness as well. I know when I'm deep in thought, it looks like I'm about to murder somebody, and this can be very off-putting and scare people, but I'm usually just thinking of something stupid. INTJs have FE trickster, like I mentioned several times, and we're not the most emotive of people. We kind of keep our emotions to ourselves with our FI child, and we don't really let things out. People often associate this with low FI, and they're not wrong because FE tricksters FI in the shadow. But you look at an ESTJ or ENTJ, they're able to feign that fake FE appearance and smile and jump through the hoops a lot easier than INTJs can. It's just because we don't really have the awareness, and it goes against our deep value system that we have. Smiling can be a challenge for INTJs, even a bit silly at times. Nothing can make us sicker than faking being happy. It's really annoying. I hate it when people tell me to smile. If you want to piss an INTJ off, tell them to smile. But again, this is a huge barrier. People, especially high FE users, use FE to read and gauge people. That's how they navigate people and make judgments. INTJs have this poker face, but it can be bewildering to an FE user and even like a challenge. They want to get us to break that shell, and it can piss us off. And we really do look pissed then because we are pissed. Sign number 7, you're insecure about giving people bad experience. SE inferior is the main cause of this. INTJs can be very self-conscious about looking bad, smelling bad, sounding bad. This can lead to INTJs procrastinating and being passive. With FE trickster not really knowing how the social world works and other people and how they're and other people's feelings and how we're coming off to other people, this can definitely exacerbate SE inferior, and they work hand to hand in a negative way. We have a hard time meeting people at an empathetic level. So we don't really know what kind of experience we're giving them, unless they tell us, of course, which we appreciate. INTJs can be clumsy, and with NI, we're always in our heads anyway. So the present world just passes us by and we're not really aware of it all the time. While it's important to use your NI to kind of speculate and recharge, it can become a prison as well. So you have to be very careful of it. Don't get deadlocked in your inner world and don't take any action. We get so stuck with our contemplation process and being in the future that day-to-day world just passes us by and we never really get anything done and reach our goals. So we have to extrovert it into the world somehow. So don't get caught in that trap. Sometimes you just got to risk making yourself look like a fool and just go out there and get what you want. Is this video helpful with deciding you're an INTJ or not? Leave me a comment below and let me know, and give it a quick thumbs up. Sign number 8, you think you're smarter than everybody else, but you feel stupid at the same time. Due to TI cynics, we can become arrogant in our thinking and think we're smarter than everybody else, and this can kind of exacerbate our FI God complex at times. We have a rapid thought process with our NITE. TE cynics is kind of there. It almost works as a trickster function itself. It might make us think that we're correct, that our assumptions are true, but if we don't take time to fact check it and actually think things through, we can be completely wrong. So don't think you're right all the time. Definitely take the time to process your thoughts and come to conclusions very thoroughly. It's a trap that INTJs fall in. We can come to conclusions very quickly because we're the triple progression types, as I mentioned before, with our NINTE. We're just fast when we're thinking. SE inferior, which is shadowed by SI demon, which I think is a true cause of this, makes us insanely impatient. So we're always wanting results. Again, back to that triple progression. We just want progress fast, and slow progress is agonizing to us. TI cynics is like a double-edged sword. Why we think we can be smarter than other people, we also feel stupid deep down. INTJs are often seen as one of the most, if not the most, intelligent of all the personality types. I don't think this is necessarily true. We often have a deep sense of stupidity and self-doubt. Like for years, I wanted to make these videos and blog, but I felt intellectually inferior and like I didn't know what I was talking about. So you got to look before you leap, before you make snap decisions. Sometimes you just have to do that. But if you have the time, take the time to come to actual good, strong conclusions. Sign 9, you are paranoid. We have any opposing personality in the shadow, which opposes our NI and our ego, or it's called the nemesis function as well. We can spend hours just daydreaming of a perfect world, how we want to be in the future with our NI, then our any opposing personality goes against us, and we think of all the horrible things that can go wrong, or ways we can look stupid, or how people could stab us in the back. With FE Trickster, we can be very gullible at a young age and we'll believe anybody. We can't really read when people are being devious or insincere, so we can just kind of take people at face value if we're not careful, and this can be very dangerous for us. So being stabbed in the back many times, we become very bitter. And with SI Demon, we remember everything that everybody's done against us in a negative way, so we never forget when somebody betrays us. And with NI opposing personality stacked with the FE Trickster with being burned over and over. Again, this is if you're in a healthy INTJ mostly. If you're assertive or whatever, maybe you had a better upbringing, maybe your parents and mentors were understanding that you were different. If you do have these problems, this is a good sign you're an INTJ, or at least you have these thoughts in the back of your head. Since we live in a future with our NI or any opposing personality thinks of very negative and dark scenarios, any opposing personality both hinders us and helps us. We have to lower our guard and trust people, but INTJs kind of have a reputation of being almost untrickable. And this is due to just the FE Trickster again, being burned over and over. And we are very skeptical about people and their intentions. So we are very hard to fool. But if you don't let your guard down, you're not going to form relationships. And INTJs do need relationships, maybe not to the extent of other types, but we do need fulfilling relationships in our life. Sign number 10, you might be an INTJ. You neglect yourself. SI Demon can be a bitch. Not only do we have uncanny long-term memory of who screwed us over in the past, SI is about bodily sensations and self-awareness. With SI Demon, INTJs can be very neglectful of themselves and their own health. Many INTJs have a problem of overeating or undereating. When overwhelmed, INTJs can resort to food, drugs, alcohol, and even sex as a coping mechanism. This, of course, can lead to obesity, addiction, unwanted pregnancy, STDs, and many things. So you definitely have to be careful about that and find hobbies and activities and things that you enjoy to deal with the stress of being a weirdo in a strange world. Some INTJs can be hyper focused with their NI and they forget to eat or drink. I never have this problem. As you can see, I have some problems with overeating, and I constantly have to have water next to me when I'm making these videos because I drink like a fish, basically. INTJs rarely have a sleep schedule as well, and this is very, very, very bad for our health. So be sure to take time to take care of yourself. You do have to be healthy to reach your goals. NI DOMs also have this thing where they can get diseases or even rare diseases and die from them. So you have to definitely be careful of that and just give yourself your basic needs. Did this video help clear up if you're an INTJ or not? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I'm going to leave this playlist here, which you should totally binge watch if you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about with the cognitive functions and think we're going to be on the clickbait, and have a great day.